everyone has convinced themselves that Joey Logano is inevitable. I get that everyone is afraid of the even year Logano superstition, but logic needs to win out here. Joey Logano is highly unlikely to advance to Phoenix.
Joey Logano wins Las Vegas. He's going to win it.
I wasn't superstitious, but now, in the words of the great philosopher Michael Scott, I'm afraid I am a little stitious. If you're not in the know, that was probably the most confusing cold open in the history of this show. Even if you are in the know, I probably just made you cringe really hard. I apologize. But how's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Another week where I'm left speechless, stunned. Joey Logano wins another fuel mileage race. He is through to the Championship 4 for the 6th time in his career. Can we take just a moment to appreciate how impressive that is? The Championship 4 has existed for 11 years? Logano has been a part of more than half of them. Truex, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick made it to 5 apiece. Denny Hamlin's trying to get to his 5th. Logano now sits alone. 6 Championship 4 appearances. That is extremely impressive. He continues to get it done every other year, every even-numbered season. That streak, or curse, depending on how you look at it, is still alive. And once again, Paul Wolfe, his crew chief, deserves a ton of credit, playing the fuel mileage to perfection. That's the only reason Joey Logano's even in the playoffs. Lest we forget, Logano's had a pretty mid-season by his lofty standards. This was only his 6th top 5, I think his 10th top 10 of the season. Guys like Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson have double that. But Logano snuck into the playoffs thanks to a win at Nashville over the summer, a race that went to 5 overtimes. The fastest cars, like Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, ran out of gas along the way. Logano was able to get the victory. He reaped the benefit. That punched his ticket into the playoffs. Without that win, Logano wouldn't be in the postseason. And if Alex Bowman's car doesn't fail to meet minimum weight last week, Logano wouldn't have been in the round of 8. It's incredible how many things have perfectly fallen into place, allowing Joey Logano to get to Phoenix once again. I did not see it coming this year, though in my defense, I predicted Joey Logano's speed almost perfectly. I said it earlier this week. Logano's going to run 7th to 10th every race this round. That's what he did today. He was a 7th to 10th place car, actually faded just outside of the top 10 in stage 3. Ironically, that final run of the race was probably the worst Joey Logano's car handled all day long. Yet again, Paul Wolfe is a 2-time champion crew chief. He's got one with Logano, one with Brad Kay. Logano is a 2-time champion driver who's won at Las Vegas, I think, 3 times in his impressive career. I should know better than to doubt these two, especially in a fuel mileage race. Unbelievable. Once again, here I am post-race, finding it difficult to put my thoughts into words. Logano now has an extra 2 weeks to focus on the championship race at Phoenix, and as inconsistent as this team has been this year, the short, flat tracks have been their strength. He won North Wilkesboro, dominated the All-Star race. His teammate Ryan Blaney won at Iowa. His teammate Austin Cindric won at Gateway. So Joey Logano will be formidable at Phoenix. I'm not ready to say he's the championship favorite, but these extra 2 weeks to help prepare aren't going to hurt when you have championship caliber crew chiefs, drivers, owners, pit crews, all that involved. Penske has won back-to-back championships. Logano has won at Phoenix before. They know what it takes. It's scary that Joey Logano, the 8 seed, is through to the final round with extra time to prepare. I should have believed in the superstition. That's on me. Finishing just behind Joey Logano was the dominant driver of the day, Christopher Bell. Bell qualified on the pole, his 3rd career Las Vegas pole, 3rd pole of the season, led laps early, finished 2nd in the opening stage, then won stage 2, earned 19 stage points, double thumbs up, Bell elected not to stretch the fuel, instead pitting for the final time with 37 laps to go, put fresh tires on it, then charged through the field. At one point, he was more than 25 seconds behind the leader. He'd whittled that gap down to less than 1 second by the time they crossed the line. A couple moments I noticed he bobbled or struggled with lap traffic. There was one awkward moment they showed on the broadcast where it looked like Bell was easily going to lap one of the Legacy Motor Club cars, but instead he lifted and then went around the outside, lost almost a full second. I'm not saying that one incident was the difference maker, but hey, a half a second, 0.6 would have made the finish a whole lot closer. Besides some blips here and there, Christopher Bell ran a phenomenal race, showed a ton of pace, showed a ton of poise. He comes out of here second, still in a tremendous points position, but I know it's going to sting that he didn't get the trophy, didn't get the automatic berth into the championship four. Christopher Bell has been to back-to-back championship fours. He knows what it takes in this round. He knows how important these opportunities are. You could see it in his face. He was about as stunned, about as speechless as I am, quite honestly, but for somewhat different reasons. Now, can we talk about this? Can we ditch the underdog label with Christopher Bell? He's not flying under the radar. There was a clip that was shared everywhere on social media this week of Christopher Bell in the media center getting asked if he feels that he's flying under the radar. Nobody's talking about him. And this was Christopher Bell's response, quote, "I've been asked this about 18 times today. I don't care. I just don't care. I'm going to do my deal if I'm in the headlines or if I'm not in the headlines." 18 times? Who is asking him these questions? He may not be Kyle Larson or Denny Hamlin, but Christopher Bell is not flying under the radar. They played this up on the Netflix show last year too. Remember the whole "I wasn't part of the plan, was I?" line. Like, the dude has won multiple cup races 3 years in a row, I think. I just mentioned he's been to back-to-back championship fours. He's the 2 seed this year. He drives for Joe Gibbs Racing. His crew chief is Adam Stevens, a 2-time champion himself. It's like calling the Dodgers underdogs. This isn't some story like the Arizona Diamondbacks last year getting hot and making the World Series. No, he's a juggernaut. He's supposed to be in the championship four. Just because maybe we're not talking about him every week, that shouldn't mean he's flying under the radar. And if he is, that's on us. That's on me. That's on the fans. That's on the rest of the media. We should be talking about Christopher Bell because he is a legitimate championship contender. He has been since that win at Phoenix in March, if you ask me. I'll give myself a pat on the back for this one. I did pick Christopher Bell to win the championship when I made my predictions 7 weeks ago. So I'm not selling him short. I know how dominant he can be. He proved that today, finished second. Big days, obviously, for Joey Logano and Christopher Bell, but here are the rest of your top finishers. Daniel Suarez stretched the fuel to score a top 5 finish. Good for him. William Byron had a good day, earned stage points. There was a moment, like midway through this race, where the team made a magical adjustment and suddenly the car was a top 5 contender. William Byron's last 4 finishes now are second, third, fourth. Like, he is so cool, calm, and consistent. That's why I picked him to make it to the championship for big points day. I want to mention Alex Bowman, even though he's no longer in the playoffs, ran another phenomenal race. It's a shame he's not in this round of 8 because he has put together such an impressive playoff run, but he's still battling perhaps for 5th in the final season standings. That's something. This day will go a long way towards that. Denny Hamlin is lucky to finish 8th, if you ask me. I don't think they had a great car today, maybe in that 10th to 15th place range. They stretched the fuel at the end. That's why he scored a top 10 finish. Where the team did struggle, though, was on pit road once again. This has come up a couple times now in these playoffs. Kansas, most notably, lost many spots on pit road all day long. Hamlin was extremely disappointed with his crew afterwards. Today was not much better. They had a slow stop in stage 1, costing him stage points, and another issue at the beginning of stage 3 where they left a wheel nut loose, had to back up to tighten it. Now, Denny Hamlin may be partially to blame. He kept stopping shallow in his box, but you'd think that's something a highly trained NASCAR Cup Series pit crew would be able to adjust to on the fly, at least better than they did today. It's a couple races now where pit road issues have plagued the 11 team. It's another thing to watch these next couple of weeks. Another playoff performer with pit road problems was Kyle Larson. He ends up finishing 11th, but midway through stage 2, the 5 team had a rare, disastrous pit stop. Not only were they slow, having to retighten lug nuts, they forgot to change the left rear. Had to pit twice under green to make that change. Went 2 laps down. Eventually raced his way back to 1 lap down, and then was able to get by Ty Gibbs when then Ty Gibbs spun out to get the lucky dog battle back for a respectable finish. I mean, this car was probably a top 5 car. They did have some damage on the nose, like a metal plate got stuck in there. I don't know if that impacted them. Larson probably had a top 5, at the very least a top 10 car, but losing all that track position, having to battle back from multiple laps down, that's tough to do in a race like this with few cautions. To finish 11th shows you how much speed that 5 car truly had. They limited the damage. That's what you got to do when you are the number 1 seed in the playoffs. But there you go, top 15 finishers. Real quick shout out, Corey LaJoie, Harrison Burton, top 15s. That's pretty great. But where are the rest of the playoff drivers? We've only accounted for 5 of them. What about the other 3? Where's Reddick? Elliott? Where's Ryan Blaney? Well, I'll tell you. Early in stage 2, all 3 championship hopefuls were caught up in the same crash. Let's break it down. Martin Truex Jr., no longer in the playoffs, appears to get tight, comes up off the bottom of the track. Chase Elliott to his outside. They both slow down just as Tyler Reddick comes rocketing around the outside with a huge run. They come together, big contact. Reddick, Elliott, Keselowski as well go spinning. Tyler Reddick actually hits a divot in the grass and does a single flip. Whoa! Did not expect to see that one. Get ready for the shark fins to get even higher. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Fortunately, Tyler Reddick was okay. Not easy to spot, but Brad Keselowski actually spun back up the track and clipped Ryan Blaney. Damaged the rear of the 12 car. Gosh, stop me if you've heard this one before. Ryan Blaney caught up in someone else's crash. Blaney had a rough weekend. Flat tire early in practice, crashed, had to go to a backup car, moved through the field pretty quickly, was up inside the top 20 within the first 30 laps, but seemed to stall out in the teens and unfortunately caught up in this mess. Rough for some championship hopefuls. Just terrible luck, quite honestly. Chase Elliott, wrong place, wrong time. Tyler Reddick, sure, maybe could have been a little more conservative, but I thought the NBC broadcast made a great point. He's racing against Martin Truex Jr. and Chase Elliott, 2 of the most respectful, cleanest drivers in the field. You don't expect them to make that kind of mistake and move up the track early in the race. You got to be aggressive on restarts. Track position is everything. Just bad luck for Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, and Ryan Blaney. There's not much else to say. I think Tyler Reddick had a top 5 car. He might have had the fastest car. Qualified second, won the opening stage. Would have been really interesting to see how the 45 would have finished if they hadn't been damaged in this crash. Chase Elliott went to the garage eventually, was able to make some repairs, but came back out many laps down. Just a brutal hit to these 3's championship hopes. Joey Logano winning just added insult to injury. Look at this gap. Denny Hamlin is the first guy out, 27-point deficit. Tyler Reddick minus 30, then Elliott and Blaney are more than 40-50 points out. Must-win territory, unfortunately. I'm not ready to say must-win for Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick just yet. We saw so many mistakes, so many errors out there today. You just get stage points. Few things fall your way. Hamlin, Reddick could get back into it, but for sure, this is a huge deficit to be facing after just 1 race in this round. Pretty crazy, too, that Kyle Larson only finished 11th. I think he earned 1 stage point all day, yet somehow he gained on the cut line. Like, he extended his points cushion by a couple of points. That's pretty crazy. Christopher Bell, obviously in a great spot, but there you go. Those are the round of 8 points. Still 2 races to go before the bottom 4 get eliminated, so plenty of racing to be had. Homestead Miami Speedway, we only race there once a year, can be full of unknowns, and then Martinsville with, I believe, a completely new tire compound, at least for that track. So all bets are off. Interesting race out there at Las Vegas today. Let's put this one on the groovy gauge. The Groovy Gauge, as always, is powered by Electric E-Bikes. Head to electricebikes.com to find a ride that suits you. Really good race, I thought. Even with Christopher Bell dominating portions of the event early on, watching Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney work their way towards the top 10 was exciting. The huge crash early in stage 2, taking several contenders out, that threw me for a loop. Didn't see that twist coming. And speaking of twists, Joey Logano running like 11th, 12th place, gambling on fuel, going full Las Vegas, and it worked to his advantage. Watching Christopher Bell charge through lap traffic, 25 seconds back, then 20, 15, 10, 8, 7, 6. They kept talking about models and computer algorithms the teams were looking at. I was trying to do my own calculations in my head, watching lap times, looking at the ticker as laps wound down. I was trying to figure out, is he going to get there? Is he going to not? And Bell got within a second, another lap, maybe 2. The 20 car wins this race. If the 20 doesn't bobble a couple times in lap traffic, the 20 probably wins this race. But I was dumbfounded in the closing laps watching Joey Logano get the win. I just can't believe it. Good racing, interesting strategy, some wild twists and turns. I'm going 80% for this year's South Point 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Let me know if you agree with my Groovy Gauge score down in the comment section below. We've had some fun here today, but I think it's time we wrap things up. Thank you so much for watching my post-race Las Vegas episode. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more NASCAR content, news, race recaps, rumors, and so much more. We talk NASCAR every single day, all year long. Big thank you to my Patreon supporters as well. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. I will talk to you again real soon. Thanks for tuning in, folks.